Welcome to Lila's Bedtime Stories with the one and only Lila, Dean Val, and Tim. And tonight, again, we're going to be reading from Book 6, Your Dream Visions Now by Dwayne, the Great Writer. And Lila's right here. She's on an errand, but she's coming right now. She's the star of the show, and she'll be here in any minute here. And we can start. We're going to be reading Book 6 and having a little discussion and comments on it. And this is one of the 9 books that Dwayne, the Great Writer, has written. And this one is particularly good for the new people and people interested in the new presentation, because it covers the dream, what we call the real side, and how it all works, how we can gain a lot of benefit from paying attention to our real side. We can get answers from the real side. We can get guidance from the real side. So without further ado, here's Lila.
Have you introduced? Well, good evening, folks. Yeah. There are some bedtime stories that we'd like to share with you. And I'll be reading from my dream visions. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do with Dwayne, the Great Writer. And Dean Val and I will be with you, and also our special friend, Tim. So here we go. Some bedtime stories. An unaware person, his life is based upon the mental and emotional concepts, and once in a while there are some intuitive insights that one catches along the way. The old term, "there are squares," is very true, as most people have been victims of circumstances, so they are more likely to live a lifestyle in their literal senses. There's nothing wrong with any lifestyle, as all of us have plenty of ways to choose from and live. A car is a mental concept, as it was put together with material parts. The car will not last, as all mental concepts have proven they are only temporary. The earth is a playground for the inventive. All of us learn through what we have decided here. But what we're doing here has nothing to do with the true reality, the true senses, that is real and does not take part in the lower creative process, except to enter the real awareness of those who are open to it. It's always an individual choice how creative one wants to be, as there is no such thing as sacrifices to or with the true reality, as there are with the many gods of man. The basic formula for most people is mental concepts and emotional stimulant. These two areas of experience rule the hearts and the minds of almost all humans. And as history has shown, the two never fulfill what they are intended to do, because they really cannot. There can be no true completion here, but only the striving for something that cannot be obtained with the 5 lower vehicles. The upfront reality of mental and emotional involvement only has come down to the basic of sex and money. With the rep systems, these two aspects of people's lives are the main issue and a moral issue that is used to manipulate others. They have made the rules and regulations so they will have their hand in whatever everyone does, and without doing any of the work themselves. In the real universes, everyone is self-sufficient and works with the real awareness. Everyone is self-sufficient and works with each other. But in the three lower levels of creation, there are gods, lords, and rulers over the masses. The two heavens of man are mental concepts based upon emotional attachment, which keeps most people going there and then returning again and again for more future unconscious lives here. These heavens are the appointed areas by the rep systems. Everywhere on earth, their presence is applied through various means, such as the money that one has, and in the gods we trust concept and ideas. This is a marketing tactic set forth by the controllers to keep people under their rule. Even though the basic lifestyle has always been sex and money, it is interesting to note how the rep systems always have the moral side, which they invented, of the implications of those two and should be held only under their control. Yet they continually display their gaudy show of wealth while many of their followers are in the streets and starving. To this day, the rep systems have huge secret involvement with money, sex, and drugs, legal or otherwise. Is it a wonder why history keeps repeating itself and is headed for self-destruction once more? The rep systems, who are responsible for a lot of nightmares in people's lives, justify all their misdeeds with professional, political, and rhetoric. These officials have learned to enter people's dreams and do them harm. This world is filled with a lot of black magicians, and many of them are hired by the authorities. When a person learns to be self-sufficient, they no longer need the various controlling systems. Until a person has real guidance and is shown the various levels of life and how they correspond to ourselves, then those who do not listen will continue to experience the same effects as they always have. The idea here is to learn to rise above and see beyond the artificial offenses. The information I'm providing is the best step. In other words, what I am presenting gives a person an idea of what they're getting themselves into. There never has to be an ad or an act of rebellion at all, but one of becoming more aware, as as a real guidance gently assists one into the real universes where a person can see all of creation. Because most people lack any type of courage. They will be left to themselves on earth with all that will take place. As a person learns about their worlds of dreams, they will place. As a person learns about their worlds of dreams, they will eventually be able to rise above the dream arena and have a better perception of how life works for all. Each person thinks and feels that they desire, and so this is what takes place in a person's dreams. A person thinks, and his thinking is censored in countless ways, and their emotions and one's desire of life is filled with preconceived mental patterns. Very few people understand that the consciousness of what has been established is actually censored thought, even thought. Most people will consider their lives to be different, and their thinking is free. The human consciousness is merely a vast and seemingly endless collection of impressions and mental concepts with the addition of emotional stimulation, which are mainly from the subconsciousness, and the reactions that are involved. As a person decides their desires and their desired ideas and assumptions and relationships, these images and configurations, along with added emotions, are set into play in this invisible realms of the unconscious. As a creator continues the elaboration of all that they want in life, their creation begins to take a sort of life of its own. This is the creative magnitude of each of us, and so the lifetimes procure that we become the effect of our own creation. As many times we think in terms that it is somebody else. What do you think of that?
What do you think, Tim?
That's a lot of stuff to think about, all right. It's interesting that when we're told that what we are doing here in this physical doesn't have any importance, and that we're striving for things that cannot be obtained here, and how the mental conscious has all these emotional attachments, and then these authoritarians keep us humans with their rules, which they call morals, that they invented, and then they themselves are all connected with these things like sex and drugs and money and how the world is filled with black magicians, and they can be hired by these authoritarians to do their jobs they want done. How they can, which makes it very important to have real guides in a person's life for protection until we can protect ourselves from them. and how this ability to be guided above and beyond, so that we can see what's going on here in all of creation. And how all of our stuff, this mental stuff, seems so vast and endless. All the experiences we've been through, and what's going on, and how we become the effect of the causes that we've made happen. It's just so important to have this guidance and education that's being given right now on Earth to those who the real guides know are ready for their chance to see if it's important enough now to find out what life's all about, why we came here. There's a lot of the information that many seem to be desiring to know about life. And we've gone through all these experiences through the control of the authoritarians and all the experiences they've made happen, all these wars that we've been the ones that have been convinced to go fight and kill others and be killed, and so many experiences here in these psychic realms where there seems to be a lot of interference and no freedom. So it's a wonderful thing that we have these books to read and decide for ourselves if they're important to us or not.